Hello, my name is Steve Gerhardt. This is the Unagi Observer. Thank you very much for watching. I'm going to have to kind of wing it a little bit right now because originally I actually had a very nice video about samurai and firearms and attitudes about them, which are going to have to go up next week because after I did the video, apparently all the memory got lost in the transfer somehow. I'm not exactly sure what I did. It's going to be about Otakon. So I am going to Otakon, at least I think I'm going to Otakon. I got my hotel room and everything, so as long as something drastic and tragic and horrible doesn't happen, I will be at Otakon. What that means is a couple different things. What the biggest thing for me means that as we get closer to Otakon, I'm going to be doing my annual Where to Eat for Otakon, which is actually about convention tips, where to actually eat around the convention center if you have to leave. So anyway, so as I say, I'm going to be going down there. So I just want to give a really quick tip right now to you guys who might still be on the fence, or you've bought your stuff, your pass, which is really cool. For the first time in many years, they've actually put daytime passes back on sale. It's been a long time. Usually for a while there, you had to buy the entire weekend in order to attend. Now they've got day passes, so please check those out, especially if you don't have the time, but you have like a day. Check that out because the prices are actually still pretty reasonable for that. Anyway, so let's say you got your ticket to go, but you don't have a place to stay yet, and it's getting kind of close. It's already at the end of March, and it seems like the end of July is far away, but it really isn't, especially when you're considering that you have to book a room. Now, Otakon, if you go to the website, they usually have a block of hotels that they have connections with, where they slow release blocks of room for you to go in and actually book. Sometimes they might have a discount, most often they don't, but it's about the availability of actually, yes, there's actually a room that you can get if you can afford it, and that's kind of the key right there. So one of the tips that I will tell you is that if you're going to Otakon, and this is kind of like maybe your first or second time in DC, I'm going to tell you right off the bat, it's going to be expensive. I'm sorry, it just is. And I have two thoughts on this. If you want to go to a hotel, that's fine, because there are certain amenities that a hotel has that are really good and that you should take advantage of. But sometimes, if you're going to spend that much money, why not go and stay in a very nice place like an Airbnb, where you can get a place that has a kitchen, a washer and dryer, nice sheets, nice shower, space, a place to use your computer, place to, they'll have Wi-Fi codes for you, access to Metro, the whole 9 yards. So keep in mind that as you look for a hotel, and if you're willing to spend that kind of money, also take a look at the Airbnbs. And the other thing about the Airbnbs is that you can actually kind of price them. So you can actually wait a little bit and see what you can get. Now, some of them are just rooms. The Airbnbs are just basically a room in somebody's house, so you kind of have to abide by their rules. But there are other places, like in an entire apartment house, or what I did in 2017 was actually get an Airbnb in a carriage house. It was a two-story carriage house. It was great. I was within 2 blocks of a metro station, so each morning was a nice 10-minute brisk walk to the metro, take the metro, and boom, there I am at the convention center. So keep those things in mind. But if you do have to get a hotel, be strategic about it. Take a look at where the metro stops are. Now, there's different lines. They're color-coded. If you're not familiar with DC, they're color-coded, and so you might want to see which lines you want to take. Red line is the most used one. Yeah, I believe it's blue, yellow, and green. That actually gets you close to the station. I think it's blue and yellow. I'm going off the top of my head. I could be wrong. Just double check me on the map. I think it's blue and yellow that actually gets you to the convention center. Like, you come up the escalator and there's the convention center, like literally right in front of you. Strategically locate yourself. And the reason why I'm saying this is because the further away you get from the center of the city, in most respects, the hotels become a little bit cheaper. So, but again, it kind of depends on what neighborhood that you're looking at, because sometimes they can still be very expensive, but they might be totally somewhere way in the corner of Northwest. Again, that's something else I'm going to tell you about quadrants. But think about it that way. So if you have access to a metro, that can mean all the difference. Metro can make your life a lot more easier. Now I know that there's been problems with Metro in the past. They have been improving. Sometimes they can take a couple steps backwards. I'll look into that more as I get closer to Otakon and talk about that more. But just keep that in mind that the Metro is a valuable tool and resource for you to get to and from, because I'm going to tell you right now, you do not want to drive in DC. No, 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 no. If you even have to drive there, park your car in a parking garage and leave it. Don't bother driving. Trust me, the place is a freaking nightmare. I lived there, I know. Go, to regular sites, hotel.com and things like that, and see what you can get. Now, I'm going to warn you right now, there's going to be, and I did this year just because of my budget, and I had to do it, but I kind of got a seedy place. I mentioned it in the previous video. It's really cheap, but I'm paying for it. Trust me. I'm gonna have to be careful. It's not a great hotel. So just be careful of that. Check, actually actively look at the Yelp reviews, those kinds of things. I know it just seems obvious, but when it comes to Washington DC, you're gonna learn that everything that you buy, the price of it is going to be exponentially larger than what you thought it was going to be. And that was one of the nice things about Baltimore, was the cost of going to Otakon was so much less. Now it's so much more. So those are things that you have to keep in mind as you're looking for a hotel or an Airbnb. Now, I said something about quadrants, and I'm just going to say this one little thing, and we're going to get in more detail again as I go towards as we get closer to Otakon, and I actually do the where to eat videos, and I'll talk about this in more depth. Quadrants. If you don't already know, Washington DC is divided into 4 quadrants: northwest, southwest, northeast, southeast. Here's the kicker: you could have a 7th Street in northwest, but it will not connect to the one in southeast. It might connect to the northeast, but it won't connect to the southeast. You see where I'm getting with this? So you could have 4 different streets called 7th Street. It happens. Now you also have major roads like Rhode Island Avenue, Massachusetts Avenue, roads that are named after states that do cross into from one into another, but they usually don't go into all 4s. So there's no circular inside the city of a street. So when you're looking at directions, that quadrant, that northwest, the NW, SW, SE, NE, means something. Because if you get the wrong the wrong quadrant, you're going to wind up in a part of the city that you do not want to be in. So anyway, I'm just going to leave you with this. Investigate your choices for your hotels. Know that you're going to have to spend some money. When I say spend some money, I mean you're going to spend a lot. Check out if maybe an Airbnb might not be a better choice for you if you are going to spend that much money. Maybe you want luxury as opposed to, just a room. Think about it that way. And last but not least, get the badge. I'll explain more about it as we get closer to Otakon. But if you haven't figured it out by now, having a badge in your hand before you even show up is so much easier. So much easier. So there you go. Next week, hopefully I will have the video that I wanted to have for you today next week. Thank you again for watching. If you like what I do, please like down below. If you want to subscribe, I would love it if you did. Please subscribe. And again, this is the Otaku Observer. My name is Steve Gearhart. Thanks for watching, and see you guys next time.